Judging by the fact that you've clicked on this video shows me that you want to get involved in Forex trading, especially heading into 2020. Now, sometimes online it can be a little bit misleading. It can be hard to actually figure out a path that's right for you, what path to take, what route to take, who to learn from, all these common questions that I'm sure you may have. I was the same thing. I started out my trading journey at the back end of 2016, and at that time there wasn't really too much information out there. Yes, there was bits and bats of information, but it wasn't all pieced together. I kind of had to figure it out for myself in the beginning stages anyway, through trial and error, through a lot of different websites and things like that. So I want to create a video right now that would have benefited me when I first started trading and give you a guideline of what to follow, what to do, what not to do, who to learn from, things like that. So hopefully it's going to be valuable. Sit back, relax, and we'll get straight into the video. Now, the first point I want to go into here is to join a community of like-minded traders. Now, you have a couple of options. So I'm sure you're coming into the trading space, you've probably heard of signal services. Don't even let me get into that. Courses, communities, and you can even learn it yourself as well. Let's start off with signal services first and foremost. If you want my opinion, do not touch signal services with a barge pole. The reason being, right, let me explain this quickly. You're not learning the sustainable skill for yourself. So by someone giving you signals to buy and sell a currency pair, when to exit it, you're not really going to learn that skill for yourself, right? Trading is such a sustainable skill that you can master over the long term. And just think about it, right? Once you get to where you want to get to, you can generate more returns than a bank, like you are an asset. But if you don't learn that skill and you let someone essentially trade for you, like signal services, then you're not going to learn the skill for yourself. Let's just say, for an example, that signal services does become an income stream. Very much doubt it, but let's just use it as an example. Let's say that person completely stops trading tomorrow, right? You're then screwed. Like, you've no income source. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's not sustainable, and I just don't agree with it. I think so many people reach out to me, and I've seen it on social media so many times, that people just want to get into that get rich quick mentality, want to flip like so much money in so little time, and it's just not the right mind frame to be in. So in my opinion, just avoid it completely. If someone offers you signals, do not accept it. Just stay away from that side of the space. Like, that's the tarnished side of the Forex space, and stay into the good side. So moving on from signal services now, let's not get into that again. Let's go into courses and communities. So courses and communities is essentially like a theory test and a practical test with driving. So for example, right, if you're in the UK or you have a similar thing in your country, we have a theory test in terms of driving, where it's a written exam before you take the test, and then the practical test is obviously when you actually drive the car. Courses and communities is pretty much like that. So courses is the theory work behind trading. Yes, you learn certain things, but you're not going to really gain that live experience, that live in the moment thought process in the markets. Whereas within a community, if you have that constant mentorship on a weekly and monthly basis, that's when that thought process comes into play, because it's super important, and you're also surrounded by other like-minded traders along the journey with yourself. Within courses, it can be quite lonely. I've been there before, and it sounds cliche to say that, but it really is. If you're just in a dark room just trading by yourself, it can kind of be a little bit lonely sometimes. Whereas if you're in a community of like-minded traders, you bounce ideas off each other, you're learning from other people who are full-time, consistently profitable, and the mentors that you're learning off have the results that you want to acquire, then it's just so beneficial, because you're in a good environment. And you've probably heard the quote before, you are the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with. So this is a super important point. So for me personally, I can actually back this up, because I've been in a community of like-minded traders for the past 2.5 years, and which is Falcon Trading Guidance, and I've literally met friends for life and learned so much, learning off people on a constant basis who are much above me, who are on the same level, and just like trying to help out with the newer members within the community as well. So you get all aspects within that, and it's super beneficial, and I think it really speeds up the learning process. So I highly recommend it. Personally, in my experience, avoid signals. Courses can be good, but communities is where the golden nuggets are going to be. Moving on to the next point now, which is to adopt a strategy or style which fits with your personality. So a quick example of this before we get into it is that when I first started trading, the first course that I got involved with, I was trading a strategy which was support and resistance indicators, and I was taking like 1 to 2 trades a month, and because it was in line with that strategy. Now this didn't really resonate with me. I wanted to be more active in the markets and just take advantage of even shorter term moves. So the style of trading right now is I'm more so taking like 8 to 12 on average per month, depending whether we have corrective or impulsive conditions. Impulsive conditions, that's going to naturally pick up a little bit more, and corrective maybe a little bit less. But on average 8 to 12, and that fits more with my personality. I can catch moves when they frequently occur, and I'm happy taking a step back from the markets during those corrective conditions, not taking a trade for an entire week, but then the impulsive conditions kick in and I may take 4 trades in 2 days. So it is what it is, and I really like the style I'm trading right now. So a quick point to mention in there. And also with this point, to think in scale, you need to make sure that your style and strategy fits with scale and sustainability. So if you're trading a £10,000 account right now, right? If you were to scale to 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, can the style that you're trading, the way you're entering trades, the way you're managing trades, is it still congruent to the trader that you want to be? And can it cope with scale? So, you know, for example, if you're just taking so many trades throughout the month, let's say 30, 40, 50 plus trades per month, like let's go on the aggressive side of things, right? And then you scale to 6, 7 figures, is that going to be sustainable with your lifestyle? You need to think about this. So sometimes that can be hard in the beginning, but as long as you have a community of like-minded traders and you have the aggressive side of things and then you have the conservative side, so you can almost find the unique style for yourself, which is going to be available within communities. So moving on to the next point now, which is to open up a demo account. Now I think a lot of people get this slightly mixed up on how long they should actually stay on a demo account for. In my opinion, it should be no more than 3 months on average. The reason being is that you want to be able to get live. You want to experience those live emotions within the market and the psychology of trading. And you can't really experience that just trading virtual money on a demo account. Now, a demo account, in my opinion, should just be to get used to the interface, get comfortable with placing trades, managing trades, and exiting trades. It shouldn't be to, you know, stay on for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months plus, and then not really get anywhere. You want to be going live, experience those live emotions, and then get into the market. One thing that I do want to mention quickly though is that if you're going with a live account, you can start off with a really small amount, especially with some of the brokers that are out there right now. But what I will say personally is that start off with an amount that you're treating it like a business. If you start off too small and it's almost like play money or side hustle money and you're treating it like a hobby, you're not really going to go full in. So make sure that you're treating trading like a business and you start off with an amount that's comfortable for you. This is going to be unique for everyone, but make sure that you treat it like a business. Next area I want to cover is risk management. So keeping your risk as minimal as possible throughout your trading career is very important. So I only risk 1% of my trading account per trade that I take, and I stick to that always. I always abide by those rules within my plan, and I never go against that. But I've talked to people within the space that have, you know, blown multiple accounts. I've never blown an account personally because I've been taught good risk management from the start. Only ever risk 1% of my account, and it's kind of hard to blow your account even when you're going within those learning stages. But I've talked to people within space and they've blown like multiple accounts. No offense if you have done that, I get it, because if you're not taught correct risk management, that can easily spiral out of control. But if you keep your risk minimal and keep it between 1% and 3%, then I think that's the key. If you're then going into the realm of risking 5-10% per trade, let's say for example, then you go into the mindset of like gambler mentality, and I just don't think that's the right way to go. And you're naturally in that mindset of actually trying to flip accounts. Like, why are you trying to flip accounts super quick? Like, focus on the results first. Capital will come second, always. Like, once you've got the results, you'll naturally just attract the capital one way or another, whether that's through yourself or through investors. So there's no need to get rich quick in this game. Stick to a small risk management and stick to that at all costs. Backtesting the strategy is an important point as well, not only to gain confidence within your strategy and the way that it works, but actually to see the data behind that strategy, to see that yes, okay, it has an edge over time. Yes, over time, if I stick to my plan, if I stick to this strategy, I'm going to be profitable because of the probability model that's present. So that's super important to backtest it, understand the pair behavior, understand the nature of the market. What I find from talking to a lot of people within the space is that they seem to see backtesting as this big to-do task that takes a long time, but it doesn't have to be that way. If you're consistent with the process, and even if you work a 9-to-5 job or whatever your situation is, right, if you're consistently backtesting for like 1 to 2 hours a day, or even more if you can, then over time that's going to add up. You're going to start to understand the pair behavior across multiple different currency pairs, because this is something that people don't understand as well. There's 28 different currency pairs. All of those have different nature. Each pair is unique. They all have different characteristics. For example, I know that pound dollar likes to react well with ascendings within ascendings, and I know that I don't take certain entries on euro pound, and I don't take certain entries on Swiss pairs because they're naturally more corrective and wicky in behavior. So naturally I'm more inclined to take losses on on those pairs, so that's why I don't take certain entries on those pairs. So having that knowledge and then putting that into your trading plan is super beneficial, but that only comes through putting in the hard work now and getting on with that backtesting. This ties in very nicely with actually creating a trading plan. So having that information from backtesting, then transferring that over to your trading plan is very important. So within my plan, I split it up into different sections. So I have entries, so I literally have 12 go-to setups that I stick to, with screenshots and notes to help me in the cross-referencing process when I'm actually taking a trade. Then I have a section on management, so I have 3 different management styles, like once again with screenshots and notes to keep it as simple as possible for me to understand it. And then I have pair behavior, understanding how different pairs behave. I have risk management in there, so I only keep it locked in at 1%. Then I have a pre-trade checklist, so some questions that I naturally run through that's more subconscious now, but I do run through that list before I then take a trade to make sure that I'm sticking to my plan. And then to finish off, I also have a signed signature from myself to say that I'm committing to my trading plan and I'll stick to this at all costs. Without having that proper plan in place, you're literally like a rabbit in headlights in the live market. You don't know what you're going to do. You have no gauge, you have no rules or guidelines to follow, so you're literally running loose. But by having a specific business plan in place for your trading, you can then have rules and guidelines to follow in accordance with your strategy. So that's very, very important. So guys, now that those main key bits have been covered, I want to kind of bring you into the space a little bit and give you some practical pieces of advice from myself. So come on, sit down with me and we'll talk through this. So the main point I want to cover is that coming to trading with the long-term mindset, naturally through social media, we're conditioned to think that it should happen in 3 months. And if it's not happening in 3 months, then you need to question the strategy, you need to question your style, you need to question trading altogether, whether it actually works. And that's the wrong mentality of actually approaching it. It's like you have to think of trading like a business. With a business, you're not gonna make it happen in 3 months, right? You have the development stages, the learning stages of actually starting a business. You have a whole entire process to go through before you can actually become a profitable business, right? Same thing in this. The process is going to take time. You're probably not going to make this happen within 3 months, so just accept that ahead of time. It's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of late nights, early mornings, a lot of sacrifices, and it's going to be a roller coaster ride in many ways, but you are going to grow into an individual that you never imagined for yourself. You're going to become the best version of yourself. And that's the reason why there's such a small percentage of people who actually make it happen and become successful in any industry that you go into, right? You have to work hard, you have to put in the work, put in the time, you have to persevere through what most people would actually call you crazy. Like, I've seen traders give up on that final hurdle, and what you'll find is that the universe almost throws like a final test at you before you then break through into like consistency and stuff like that. So I've seen that so many times where traders are so close to consistency and actually breaking through, and then they give up at the last hurdle because they think it's not right. And these people are making like, you know, hitting 5% per month, but then something in their mind tells them that it's not working. Like, you have to just push through the entire journey. No matter what anyone says about you, whether it's friends, close family, things like that, you just have to go through it. You have to go through those times because you eventually become the asset. Once you learn this skill, it's such a sustainable skill and you become an asset because you can generate more returns to the bank, which is naturally attractable to investors. So you have to appreciate that as a trader coming into the trading space, you are the asset. So it's very important that you treat it like a business, put in the hard work now, build the foundation for yourself, and then you can just impact future generations. So you have to think about that. Just before we finish up here on this video, I want to mention a quick analogy which actually resonates quite nicely with trading. So why is it that within trading, we expect it to happen within 3 months, right? But then you look at someone going to college and university to study a degree, let's say law or psychology, whatever it is, and it's naturally going to take them, what, 3, 5, 7 years, right? But then they're happy because it's perspective ahead of time. They're happy drawing that out. They're happy doing that entire course and seeing that process through. Whereas if trading doesn't happen in 3 months, you're questioning the strategy, the style, you're questioning yourself. Like, if 3 months in the course of a lifetime is nothing. You have to think in the grand scheme of things, right? If this takes you 5 years, at least go into trading with that mindset that, okay, I'm happy for this to take 5 years because when I'm 25, when I'm 30, when I'm 35, 40, whatever your age is, right? I'm naturally going to be ahead of 99% of the population. So you have to think about that. If it takes you 5 years to master it, gain the capital and stuff like that, you're in such a good place. So think about the long-term mindset. Do not get caught up into the social media short-term mentality. It's so easy to spiral out in that mentality. So think longer term and always have that vision in mind. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully it's been a good video. and that if you're just starting out in your trading journey, hopefully this helps for you. If you have any further questions, drop them down below in the comment section, reach out and I'll happily answer any questions that you may have. But other than that, good video, really enjoyed the creating this, hopefully this helps. Have a great week guys, and I'll speak to you soon.